Hey everyone, thanks for checking out the video. I'm JP and this is Good Talk HQ. Today we'll take a look at some of the best games that you can get right now on the eShop at a great price. And then as always we'll recap with some games that are still on sale from the previous weeks. So everyone make sure you get your back braces ready because the backlog is going to get heavy. If you've been here before, welcome back and thank you as always. Much love to you all. And if this is your first time here, welcome and thanks for stopping by. If you have a good time and you're looking for Nintendo content every week, we'd love to have you join our family as well. We have an amazing group of game enthusiasts and deal seekers that'll gladly show you around the headquarters. Either way though, please stay safe out there and enjoy the video. Alright, let's start off with Wildfire. This is an action platform style RPG from Humble Games and offers a main story that should last players roughly 5 to 10 hours to finish up. This is a cool stealth style game where you have to harness the power of the elements in order to progress through each level. You'll be able to start fires, freeze the water, and even move the earth, and these abilities make for some cool puzzle solving along the way. Players will set out on a mission to take back their home village and rescue those whom have been kidnapped. What I really like about this one is a lot of the puzzles involve cleverly tricking your enemies and luring them into a trap. Of course, the addition of co-op play for the entirety of the game is certainly welcome here. If you're considering getting this one, make sure to do so before the sale ends on September 10th. It's marked down 30% to an all-time low, just $10.49. Redeemer Enhanced Edition. This is a single-player action fighter available for 1 to 2 players in local co-op with the main story that will take players roughly 6 to 8 hours to complete. Now this is an intense top-down fighter with brutal close-quarters combat, a dodge and parry system requiring precise timing, and even a few unique finishing moves to dispatch of your enemies in a glorious fashion. It's actually pretty impressive how well it runs on the Switch. It even has a physics-based damage system where you can dismember your opponents and use their body parts as weapons. Now one thing to keep in mind, the story mode is single player only, but the rest of the modes are designed with multiplayer action in mind. Right now you can get Redeemer Enhanced Edition on sale until September 8th. It's marked down 70% to just $8.99. Next we have 9 Monkeys of the Shaolin. This is a 3D action beat 'em up for 1 or 2 players, either local or an online co-op, with a story that would take roughly 7 to 8 hours to complete. In this one we play as a Chinese fisherman with mysterious ties to the ancient martial arts. We set out to avenge our family and friends who were brutally killed in a pirate raid on our village. The game features some great action-packed battles, friendly simple controls, and a truly immersive world. One thing to definitely keep in mind, with the online there's a bit of lag on occasion, but nothing that will break up the game or the fun too badly. So if you're interested in a good beat 'em up, this is a pretty good option and it's currently on sale until September 8th. It's marked down 70% to an all-time low of just $8.99. Spiritfarer is a simulation-style adventure game from Thunder Lotus Games and offers players more than 30 of strategy RPG from Humble Games, offering a main story that should last players more than 40 hours, and potentially double or triple that for completionists. Now this is a fusion of deck builder card style games and roguelikes mashed together for a great experience. Like with many card builders, the key to success will come through trial and error, finding the best combination of cards to fill out your deck, and then strategizing your attack. The game world itself is ever changing, so each trip up the Spire will give players a new layout so the game never starts to feel too stale, especially early on. As you travel through the Spire, you'll be able to find these powerful relics which will greatly enhance your deck and make easy work of the enemies that you'll encounter. If you're interested in this one, make sure to check it out before the sale ends on September 10th. It's marked down 50% to an all-time low of just $12.49. A Hat in Time, the Ultimate Edition, is a charming 3D action platformer from Humble Games with a main story that should last roughly 10 or 15 hours, and it even offers some multiplayer action for 2 players locally. In this one we play as a young time traveler with a big old top hat, and unfortunately the fuel for our ship has been scattered all across the planet. Players will have to explore this vast and beautiful world in order to collect and recover all of the timepieces and continue our journey. Now this version includes all of the DLC as well and adds so much more value to the sale price. This gives players access to the Arctic Cruise expansion as well as the Nyakuza Metro DLC. These additions add new moves, items, weapons, levels, quests, and more, making this one of the best values of the week. If you're interested in this one, make sure to grab it up before the sale ends on September 10th. It's marked down 50% to an all-time low of just $14.99. Operencia The Stolen Sun. This is a single-player adventure-style RPG from Zen Studios with a main story that will last players roughly 20 or 30 hours to wrap up. This game embodies everything you remember and love about classic first-person dungeon crawlers, while bringing some modern enhancements and quality-of-life changes for a fresh take on the genre. Players will build a team and then guide them through this world that's heavily inspired by Central European mythology. Whether in the tombs or the dungeons, roaming around in the enchanted castle, the environments are gorgeous and the game sounds amazing as well. If you've had your eye on this one, now might be the time to finally grab it up, as it's at an all-time low of just $11.99, which is a 60% discount, and the sale runs through September 7th. Monster Sanctuary is an adventure-style platform RPG from Team 17, one of our favorite publishers here at the channel. The game has a main story that should last more than 30 hours, and it also has multiplayer action for 2 players available as well. Now this one features gorgeous pixelated graphics with a side-scrolling view and sees players collecting, training, and battling with monsters, something similar to like Pokemon. Players will embark on an epic adventure using the monsters you find along the way as well as the teammates that you'll gather. Now this game is a Metroidvania, which so many are nowadays, and the abilities that you unlock by finding these new monsters will hold the key to your progression through each of the stages. The game even offers an online head-to-head battle mode, giving the game even more value when it's on sale. If you're interested in this one, make sure to grab it up before the sale ends on September 9th. It's marked down 33% to just $13.99, which again is an all-time low. Alright, next we have R-Type Dimensions X. This is an arcade-style side-scrolling shoot-'em-up bundle for 1 to 2 players in local couch co-op. Now while these games aren't super long, they are tough as nails. Honestly, they may be some of the most challenging shoot-'em-ups that I've ever played on the Switch. With this bundle, you'll get both great classic titles from the 80s updated for modern gamers, with the unique feature being, outside the difficulty of course, the ability to change between the retro aesthetic and sound to modern 3D graphics and sound with a single button press. The game even offers an infinite mode, which will allow younger players the chance to see the full game without getting stuck at an early stage or dying a lot early on. This package does include all 14 stages from both of the games, with the option to play in the original arcade versions as well for full nostalgia. So if you like challenging games and you're a fan of shoot 'em ups, make sure to grab this one up before the sale ends on September 16th. It's marked down 50% to an all-time low of just $7.49. Next we have Ikenfell. This is a single-player adventure RPG again from Humble Games and offers a main story that will last players roughly 15 to 20 hours. Now this is a turn-based tactical RPG about a group of troublesome magic students and features a heartwarming story full of twists and turns, dozens of magical spells to find and unlock, several playable characters each with their own skill sets and abilities, and more than 20 epic boss battles and hundreds of secrets to find throughout. Players will get to explore this vast school of magic in all of its pixelated glory. Now one thing I did want to highlight is the soundtrack, which was absolutely fantastic, top notch for sure. If you're interested in Ikenfell, make sure to pick it up before the sale ends on September 10th. It's currently marked down 30% to an all-time low of just $13.99. Portal Knights is a multiplayer RPG from 505 Games and offers players roughly 30 to 40 hours of main story gameplay. And this one is available for 4 players either locally or online. In this one, players will have to prove themselves worthy of the title Portal Knight by leveling up, crafting epic items, and defeating foes in real time. The game features some absolutely epic boss battles, a tactical combat system, a randomly generated 3D sandbox style world, and even a crafting system that will allow players to build structures and create their own little towns from the materials that you'll have to go out and gather. Now this one was recommended by ZionCool100. Thanks my friend, this one is a blast with the fam and friends. Much love buddy. If you're interested in Portal Knights, be sure to check it out before the sale ends on September 10th. It's marked down 60% to an all-time low of just $7.99. Alright, and next we have Cozy Grove. This is a single-player adventure sim-style game from Spiritfarer with a main story that should last more than 40 hours. This is a life sim about camping on a haunted island, and over time you'll explore the forest each day and you'll eventually bring color and joy back to Cozy Grove. One really cool feature in this game is that the in-game time is synced with real-world time and offers new content every day to keep players excited to come back. The hand-drawn art and peaceful soundtrack are top-notch with this game, and it's highly recommended. If you're interested in Cozy Grove, you'll be able to get it on sale before September 9th for just $13.40, which is marked down 11% to an all-time low. Wizard of Legend. This is an action-adventure style game from Humble Games, available for 1 or 2 players in local co-op, and offers a main story that shall last more than 15 hours to wrap up. This is a fast-paced dungeon crawler with an emphasis on the dynamic combat system. You have to think fast and move quick, but if you can do so fast enough, you'll be able to chain together spells for massive damage bonuses. The game itself has more than 100 different spells that you can find and combine in cool different ways, and this gives the player a level of freedom to how they choose to play. You can either dive headfirst into the combat, or let your minions do the work for you, and of course you can do all of this solo or in co-op. If you're interested in Wizard of Legend, be sure to check it out before the sale ends on September 10th. It's marked down 60% to an all-time low of just $6.39. Warhammer 40,000 Space Wolf. This is a tactical style strategy game from HeroCraft Studios and offers players roughly 10 to 20 hours of gameplay. Now this is a turn-based SRPG in which you'll take command of the Space Wolves as you join the battle against multiple evil forces. The game features a few game modes including survival mode and the epic story campaign. Upgrade and leveling systems, squad modifications, loads of different armor and weapon upgrades, and this version includes all of the previously released DLC as well. Now there are some light card-based mechanics, but if you're not a fan of the deck builders or card-based games, it's not something that you have to spend a whole lot of time worrying about, and it shouldn't hinder the enjoyment of the game at all. As far as performance, it looks and runs great on the Switch, so you're not compromising having it here on the console. If you want to pick this one up, make sure to do so before the sale ends on September 9th. It's marked down to just $7.19, which is 60% off, and again an all-time low. Next we have Forager, which is a single-player adventure strategy style game from Humble Games and offers players a main story that should last roughly 20 or 30 hours depending on how strong your desire to fully complete the game is. Now this is a 2D open world exploration game where you'll have to gather, collect, and manage resources, craft useful items and buildings, level up and learn new skills and abilities, and blueprints, and so much more. There are even some dungeons to dive into with clever and fun puzzles to solve, which adds a whole nother layer to an already stacked game. Like with most of these games, you start off small and ill-prepared to handle anything, but as you learn the ropes you start to feel more and more powerful and well suited for any occasion. If you're interested in Forager, make sure to check it out before the sale ends on September 10th. It's marked down to an all-time low of just $9.99, which is half price. Next we have Riptide GP Renegade. This was recommended for my son and I from one of our channel supporters. Thank you Montana, great recommendation. The game immediately reminded me of Wave Race 64 or Jet Moto from back in the day. This one though offers online play for up to 8 players and local for up to 4 players, making it an excellent choice for those looking for something that they can play in both modes. Now your mileage will vary with this one, but the main story is substantial and will last roughly 6 to 8 hours. The game features an awesome career mode which is rich with story for those who like to play these types of games solo. It's always a nice addition. You'll also be able to customize and upgrade your vehicles as well to add even more freedom to how you choose to play. Thanks again Montana, great recommendation. I hope to stream this one soon with Little Man, but if you're interested in this game, make sure to pick it up before the sale ends on September 10th. It's marked down to an all-time low of just $2.99, which is 70% off. Aegis Defenders is a multiplayer action RPG from Humble Games and offers players a main story that should last roughly 15 hours or so. This game is gorgeous on the Switch and features some amazing pixel art graphics and a wonderful soundtrack to accompany them. Now this is a mashup of 2 genres done almost to perfection. Players will have to explore, build, and defend in this unique mashup of action platforming and tower defense, with just a slight sprinkle of some RPG mechanics for a bit of flavor. You'll play as a team of hunters searching the ruins for the one thing that may be able to save your village, a long-lost legendary weapon called Aegis. Now this is another great option if you have a sibling or a friend that you like to play video games with in local co-op, but if you're interested, make sure to grab this one up before the sale ends on September 10th. It's marked down 75% to an all-time low of just $4.99. Alright, next we have BDSM. This is an action RPG with a top-down view and gorgeous graphics, coming to us from publisher Big Way. The game itself offers roughly 4 to 6 hours of gameplay, and it is a single-player only adventure. Now this is a satirical RPG where you'll play as the Devil's Son Lou, and honestly this story is a bit wacky, but suffice it to say that you have to save a young woman from a fat clown. And I know how crazy that sounds. Now of course the game is a little bit darker, but it is a lot of fun and does have some stunning graphics and sound. The way that they play on the standard health items and other things like that was so interesting, and the developers in our opinion did a great job. Now the game is certainly for mature audiences only, so parents keep that in mind when making your decisions. Right now you'll be able to pick this one up at a 50% discount until September 11th. It's marked down to an all-time low of just $9.99. Rogue Aces. This is an arcade-style 2D shooter from Infinite State Games with a main campaign that will last 8 to 10 hours. Now this is basically an aerial 2D combat roguelike featuring a unique solo campaign combined with some great multiplayer game modes. Now it does feature multiple game modes designed for up to 4 players offline. Both single player and multiplayer modes though are a blast, and the single player story is fully developed and even offers some unlockables that you can find and collect. There is a lot of value here, especially when you can catch it on sale. The graphics and controls are great on the Switch, and right now you'll be able to grab it up until September 13th for just $2.59, which is an 80% discount. For the King. This is a tabletop style strategy RPG from publisher Curve Digital, designed for either solo play or up to 3 players online or in local co-op, with the main story that should take more than 30 hours to complete. Now this is a unique blend of strategy turn-based combat and roguelike elements, with each game varying a bit due to the almost everything about each run being procedurally generated. This includes the map layout, the quests that you find, and the special events that happen as you reach certain points of the game. The Switch version also includes all of the previously released DLC, making this an excellent pickup for fans of either RPGs or these tabletop strategy style games. If you're interested, right now For the King is currently on sale until September 9th. It's marked down 85% to an all-time low of just $8.49. Iconoclasts. This is a single-player 2D adventure game from Bitfrost Entertainment that will take roughly 10 to 15 hours to wrap up. Players will explore the large world filled with challenging puzzles, interesting characters, and plenty of bosses and baddies to keep you busy. The game features 20 intense boss battles and an amazing retro-style aesthetic and sound. There are also a few difficulty settings, adding accessibility for younger players. I personally think the story was great as well, and I appreciate that it was made by one person. If you like games in this genre, please consider giving this one a look. It's currently marked down 66% to an all-time low of just $6.79 until September 6th. Alright, next we have Blasphemous. This is a single-player action platformer from Team 17 and offers roughly 20 hours of main story gameplay. This game is punishingly difficult and combines fast-paced, skill-based combat with a deep, story-driven narrative. In the game, a foul curse has fallen upon the citizens known as the Miracle, and you play as the Penitent One, a sole survivor of the massacre, and you're trapped in this endless cycle of death and rebirth. The game features amazing pixel art graphics and a dark and somber soundtrack to go with them. You'll have to explore this huge world to overcome some fearsome enemies and deadly traps. This is a tough game like I said, but it's a blast to play and a great value when on sale. So if you're interested in Blasphemous, it's on sale until September 9th, marked down 60% to just $9.99, which is an all-time low. Make sure to check it out. Fury Unleashed. This is an action platformer from publisher Awesome Games, available for 1 or 2 players in local co-op, and offers a main story that will take players roughly 10 to 12 hours to complete. In this one, players blast their way through the pages of an ever-changing comic book in this fast-paced roguelike. Each run, you'll upgrade your character and weapons to increase your effectiveness for the subsequent runs. The game really is all about the shoot 'em up action, and it delivers plenty of that to keep you engaged as you try to uncover why your creator has given up on you. The comic book art style and intense soundtrack are top notch, and this game is highly recommended. If you're interested in Fury Unleashed, you can grab it up before the sale ends on September 10th. It's marked down to just $8.99, which is 55% off. Alright, next we have Goodnight Night. This is a top-down action RPG from Cubic Games and is available for 1 to 2 players offline and local co-op. This is pretty much a dungeon crawler with heavy RPG elements, some stealth elements, and a vast resource system. A lot of what you'll find, you'll be able to bring back with you should you survive, and then you can take it to an NPC outside in the main area and have them upgrade them. One neat feature to the game is the item and upgrade system. See, everything you pick up weighs something, and you have a limit to how much you can carry, but when you make it outside and rest, all of your items are upgraded, and as part of this they become lighter. It's a cool feature that rewards you for lasting longer and longer each run. And your progress is saved after each run, so the penalty for taking the risk during the gameplay isn't too harsh either. If you're interested in this one, make sure to check it out before the sale ends on September 7th. It's marked down 50% to an all-time low of just $5.99. Next up, we have The Gardens Between. This is a single-player puzzle-style adventure game from Voxel Agents and offers a short and emotional story. It should last you roughly 2 or 3 hours. The game is focused on time, memory, and friendship. You play as 2 best friends as they relive their memories and examine their strong bond through a series of dreamlike island stages littered with everyday items from your past. Now, in these surreal stages, time flows in many directions, and you'll have to learn to manipulate it to overcome the puzzles. The game is a lot of fun to play and features some truly memorable moments. It's full of charm and creativity, so if you're interested in The Gardens Between, make sure to check it out before the sale ends on September 9th. It's marked down 78% to an all-time low of just $4.39. My Time at Portia is a single-player simulation-style RPG from Team 17 and offers a hefty story that can last more than 100 hours. This is a fan favorite and rarely on sale. The story sees players starting a new life in an enchanted town. You start with a workbench and a handbook as you set out to gather resources and begin crafting your way to fame as the #1 workshop around. You'll have to do quests, grow crops, raise animals, befriend quirky characters, and more as you rebuild this town and uncover the secrets that are locked beneath it. There are even some dungeons and a battle system in place, making this a well-rounded game and a great experience on the console. If you're considering this one, please check it out before the sale ends on September 9th. It's marked down 75% to just $7.49. Yooka-Laylee and the Impossible Lair. This is an awesome single-player 2D platformer from Team 17 and offers a main story that will last roughly 15 hours or so. A bit more for completionists, as this is definitely a collectathon at heart. Now this is the delightful follow-up to the 3D adventure game Yooka-Laylee, and it's my personal favorite top side-scrolling platformer on the console. The worlds are bright and vibrant, the soundtrack and sound effects are amazing and reminiscent of the old N64 days. The controls are perfect as you get to jump, dash, roll, and stomp your way through each of the amazing stages. On top of all of that, each stage has a second version that is totally different from the first. I really can't recommend this game enough. If you want an amazing platformer, please check this one out before the sale ends on September 9th. It's marked down 75% to an all-time low of just $7.49. You'll be happy you did. Neon Abyss is a single-player action platformer from Team 17 and offers players roughly 10 to 15 hours of main story gameplay. Now this is a fantastic game where you run and gun your way into the Abyss as part of the Grim Squad. The game also features a unique dungeon evolution system where each run is altered by your previous one. This gives a level of freedom to how you complete and expand each dungeon. Another really cool feature is how the items can stack in almost an infinite amount of different ways, and these will be key to your success, so make sure to experiment and play around with the different combinations. This is another game we highly recommend at the channel when it's on sale, so if you've been wanting to get this one, make sure to check it out before the sale ends on September 9th. It's currently marked down 33% to an all-time low of just $13.39. Morbid: The Seven Acolytes. This is a single-player action RPG with an isometric view and stunning pixel art graphics, offering a main story that will last roughly 8 to 10 hours. This is a gruesome and disturbing Souls-like game featuring epic and brutal boss battles, diverse environments, and a deeply narrative-driven story. Players will find upgrades to gear, weapons, and skills along the way as they challenge the 7 possessed acolytes with godlike powers. And this is all in an attempt to save the kingdom. This is definitely a mature game with mature themes, but if you're up to the challenge and you're into this type of game, make sure to grab it up before the sale ends on September 12th. It's marked down to just $12.49, which is half price and an all-time low. Pumpkin Jack. This is a single-player 3D action platformer that will take players roughly 6 to 7 hours to finish up. We play as the Pumpkin Lord himself. We've been contracted by the devil to do his bidding. Now the game is fairly linear, but there are a few different level types to keep it fresh along the way. The game immediately reminded me of Medieval from the original PlayStation days, which was another Halloween spooky based platformer. One really cool mechanic in this one were these areas you would come to where you would just use Jack's head to complete a puzzle and leave his body behind. I also really enjoyed the soundtrack, as I thought it added so much to the immersion. If you're interested in Pumpkin Jack, make sure to check it out before the sale ends on September 6th. It's marked down 40% to an all-time low of just $17.99. Alright, next up we have Outbuddies DX. This is a retro-style action platformer from Head Up Games and offers local co-op for 2 players with a main story that will last roughly 10 to 15 hours to complete. Now this is a Metroidvania that takes place 36,000 feet under the sea. We assume the role of an adventurer who is in a shipwreck and wakes up in a sunken city. The atmosphere and music are again absolutely fantastic here, and the music even intensifies when being chased by an enemy. This can make for some tense moments when you're near death. I also found the pixel art style to be absolutely gorgeous once again here on the Switch. Once you clear the first boss, the game will stop holding your hand though, and it's easy to get lost, so keep that in mind. If you're looking for a solid retro-style Metroidvania, make sure to check this one out before the sale ends on September 6th. It's marked down to just $7.19, which is a 60% discount. Depth of Distinction: The Definitive Edition. This is a single-player tactical turn-based RPG, similar to something like XCOM or Mario plus Rabbids, but in this one, players will explore a world that is almost entirely underwater and overrun by machines. The graphics and sound are once again top-notch, and while it may not have the budget of something like Mario plus Rabbids, it's a great indie title, and the game is truly fun to play. Now this mainly comes down to the combat in the game, which was a highlight for us personally. There are upgrade mechanics with over 100 weapons to be found throughout the campaign, and more secrets than I could count. If you're a fan of SRPGs, make sure to grab this one up before the sale ends on September 8th. It's marked down 60% to an all-time low of $5.99. Next we have Hotshot Racing. This is a retro-inspired racer from Curve Digital and offers unlimited hours of fun for either solo players or up to 4 players in local co-op. This is an insanely fast racer with a retro aesthetic that reminded me of Daytona USA from the Saturn days. Now the game plays and runs much better of course, just overall the look of the game immediately took me back. As far as the game goes, there are 16 different circuits to choose from, and there was recently a patch that added some new game modes, such as the Grand Prix and a few other freebies. The most fun game mode for us personally is the Driver Explode mode, which is like the movie and sees players having to maintain a certain speed or they'll explode. If you're looking for a solid racer on the Switch, make sure to check this one out before the sale ends on September 9th. It's marked down 75% to an all-time low of just $4.99. Alright, Digerati does a lot of these bundle deals that you can find on the eShop, so let me show you one, and then from there you'll be able to find many more as well. All you have to do on the eShop, just search for Digerati and it will bring up a list of their games, and these bundles should be there, and they're usually great values. Sometimes saving more than $40 on a single bundle versus buying the games including in said bundle separately. Take for example the Indie Puzzle Bundle Volume 1, this will include Glass Masquerade, Letter Quest Remastered, Pipe Push Paradise, and Slay Away Camp the Director's Cut, all for just $5.24. That's an 85% discount from the normal MSRP of $39.99. This deal and many other bundles from Digerati are on sale until September 9th. Please make sure to search them up on the eShop and browse through the bundles when you have a few free minutes. I'm sure you'll be happy you did, and please be sure to spread the love and share the info with someone else that might like saving money on video games as well. And that's going to wrap up today's video. We hope you enjoyed it. Thank you so much for watching. If this was your first time here, please consider subscribing if you had a good time or we helped you save a few dollars. We cover Nintendo content weekly and we live stream as well so we can hang out with you all, the wonderful community here at the channel. You can also enter our giveaway as well. Just make sure to be subbed to the channel, drop a like on the video, and leave me a comment down below so I can find your name and put you on the list. A special thank you to Montana, Another Cozy Day, Michael Bruce, and Benja Turtle. You all rock. Thank you. Alright folks, please stay safe out there and we'll let Little Man send us home. Bye everyone.
That's all for today's list. We hope you liked the video. If you did, consider subscribing and liking down below. Okay, bye!